My sister smiled at me from across my father's hospital bed the night he died. Not a sad smile. Not a grieving smile. The kind of smile that told me she already knew something I didn't. I didn't understand it then. I would spend the next 8 months wishing I had paid closer attention to that smile. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that the truth, no matter how deeply it's buried, always finds its way back to the surface. My name is Caroline Merritt. I was 43 years old when my father, Harold Merritt, passed away in a small hospital room in Asheville, North Carolina, on a Tuesday evening in late October. The leaves were turning outside his window, deep red and burnt orange, and I remember thinking that it was exactly the kind of evening my father would have loved. He always said autumn was the only honest season. Everything else was pretending. Dad was 78. He had lived a full life by most measures, but to me, losing him felt like losing the floor beneath my feet. He had been my anchor for as long as I could remember. My mother had passed when I was 11, and after that it had just been the three of us, Dad, me, and my older sister, Diane. Diane was 4 years older than me. She was polished in a way I never was, always put together, always composed, always saying the right thing at the right moment. Growing up, people used to assume she was the responsible one, the capable one, the one who had her life figured out. I was the quiet daughter, the one who preferred books over parties, who married young and simply, who never chased money or status. My husband, Ray, was a contractor. We had a modest house in Weaverville, about 20 minutes from where Dad lived. We had 2 teenagers, Marcus and Lily, and a life that was uncomplicated and full. I never wanted more than what I had. Diane had moved to Charlotte years ago. She married a man named Gregory who worked in real estate development, and together they lived in a large house in a gated community with a pool they used maybe 3 times a year. They had money. Not life-changing money, but enough to make them feel important. Enough to make Diane act like the gap between her life and mine was something she had earned rather than something she had simply stumbled into. For most of our adult lives, Diane and I had a relationship that I would describe as careful. We were polite. We called on birthdays. We showed up at the same holiday tables and made conversation and pretended that we were close. But the truth was, something had always been slightly off between us. A tension I could never quite name. A distance that never fully closed, no matter how many times we sat in the same room. I told myself it was just the way some siblings were. Different lives, different priorities. I never let myself believe it was something darker. Dad's health had been declining for about 2 years before he passed.